Listen up, because I'm about to drop a bombshell that'll make your jaw hit the floor harder than a drunk uncle at a karaoke mic. 8 months ago, I, Rebecca Hartwell, 32 years old and fed up to my eyeballs, tied the knot in a ceremony so beautiful it could have made a stone weep. Picture this, a sun-drenched garden, flowers blooming like they'd been bribed, and me in a dress that screamed, "I'm here, I'm fabulous, deal with it." Everyone I loved was there, except the 3 people who should have been front and center: my parents, Harold and Linda Hartwell, and my insufferably perfect sister, Melanie. That's right, they skipped my wedding like it was a dentist appointment they could reschedule. Why? Because I dared to get hitched before Melanie, their golden child, their shining star, their reason for breathing. And now, after 4 years of marital bliss with my saint of a husband, their precious family facade is crumbling faster than a sandcastle in a hurricane. Grab your popcorn, this is gonna get messy. Let's rewind to the crime scene, my wedding day. I'm not some shrinking violet who begged for their approval with teary eyes and a quivering lip. No, I'm a mid-level software developer who's damn good at her job, with a dry wit sharp enough to cut glass and a husband, Jake, who'd take a bullet for me. But to my parents, I've always been the spare tire to Melanie's luxury sedan. She's 30, tall, slender, and gorgeous enough to make supermodels weep into their kale smoothies. Me, I'm shorter, curvier, and apparently the human equivalent of a participation trophy in their eyes. They didn't just miss my wedding, they boycotted it, and I'm here to tell you why, with all the fury of a woman who's done playing nice. Melanie's been the center of the Hartwell universe since she popped out of the womb, probably winking at the doctor and winning Best Baby on her way out. Spelling bees? She crushed them. Science fairs? She built a volcano that actually erupted, probably with glitter. High school, class president, valedictorian, prom queen. She collected titles like they were Pokemon cards. Then came college, where she modeled her way through a business degree, landing gigs that had my parents throwing lavish parties like she'd cured cancer. Her first headshot still hangs above the fireplace, a shrine to her perfection, while my computer science degree got a nice job, dear, and a pat on the head before they rushed off to plan her next photo shoot. Meanwhile, I was the awkward kid they dressed up as Melanie Light. My mom signed me up for gym classes I hated, shoved me into diets that made me dream of pizza, and sighed, "If you just try harder, you could be like Melanie." Try harder? I graduated with honors, landed a solid career, and didn't need a runway to feel good about myself. But to them, I was the understudy who forgot her lines. Fear not, though. I stopped chasing their approval in my mid-20s, built a life I love, and met Jake, who saw me when they never did. Still, their absence at my wedding stung like a wasp to the soul. Fast forward to last summer, Jake proposed on our couch, surrounded by takeout boxes and reruns of The Office. It was perfect, intimate, real us. I told my parents, expecting at least a congrats. Nope. Silence. Then Mom piped up. "Are you sure you're ready? Maybe lose a few pounds first." Dad just grunted. My first clue should have been their tepid reaction, but I was too busy planning a wedding to decode their nonsense. We sent invites, paper and digital, with red receipts to boot. I triple-checked the guest list, called, texted, emailed. Crickets. They claimed they were busy, dodging me like I was a bill collector. My in-laws, bless them, stepped up, seating charts, flowers, the works. The day itself? Magical. A garden glowing with afternoon light, Jake grinning like he'd won the lottery, and me feeling like a queen. Except for those empty front row seats where my parents should have been. No father-daughter dance, just a hollow ache I drowned in champagne. Post-honeymoon, I confronted them. Their excuse? We never got a formal invite. Cue Mom's Oscar-worthy rant. How could you exclude us from our daughter's wedding? We wanted to help. I checked the records. Invites sent, delivered, read. Gaslighting 101. I didn't argue. I apologized for the mix-up and hung up seething. Jake later pointed out the pattern. Their shock at my engagement, their excuses during planning. They couldn't handle me, the lesser daughter, beating Melanie to the altar. It was a slap to their perfect family script. Here's where the plot twists like a pretzel on a roller coaster. Melanie got engaged 6 months ago to some guy she's dated for a year. A slick corporate type who probably owns a yacht. My parents lost their minds with glee, booking upscale venues, bragging about designer gowns, and turning her wedding into the event of the century. Mom's taking her to private fittings, living the mother-daughter dream they never offered me. But here's the kicker. Family members are bailing on Melanie's big day. Why? Because my parents' wedding snub became the talk of the clan. I didn't spread rumors, I told the truth when asked. They couldn't handle me marrying first. No tears, no drama, just facts. Suddenly, cousins, aunts, and uncles started RSVPing no to Melanie's engagement party. My parents freaked, calling me days later, accusing me of sabotaging her wedding out of jealousy. "You're spreading lies," they shrieked. "Lies." I laughed. "Maybe look in the mirror instead of blaming me for your mess." The truth was doing its work, and I wasn't lifting a finger. 2 weeks ago, I'd had enough of their texts about ruining their legacy. I marched to their house, ready to unload 32 years of pent-up rage. They started with the usual, "You're jealous of Melanie." I smirked, leaned in, and dropped a truth bomb. "You're right. I'm jealous, not of her job, her looks, her life. I'm jealous of the love you showered on her while I got scraps." Silence. Mom sputtered. "We treated you equally." "Oh honey, no." I unleashed the receipts. My canceled graduation dinner for Melanie's modeling gig. The prom dress that cost more than my textbooks. The years they planned her fantasy wedding while ignoring mine. Dad tried to interrupt, but I roared on. "You left my wedding seats empty because I dared to be happy first." Mom's comeback. "We never thought you'd stoop to ruining Melanie's day out of spite." Spite. I laughed, a furious guttural cackle. "You taught me I'd never measure up, but you also taught me I deserve better." "Joke's on you, I'm done." Dad's cold reply. "If you think we're such awful parents, stop pretending we're family." Mom's parting shot. "We tried to treat you fairly, but you chose victimhood." I hung up, tears streaming, but not from sadness, relief. Jake found me on the porch later, watching the sunset. "They'll never change, will they?" I whispered. He squeezed my hand. "No, but you have. That's what matters." He was right. I'd shed the girl who begged for their love like a dog at the table. Enter Melanie, stage left, with a twist so absurd it's almost comedic. 3 days later, she texted me a sanctimonious novel. "What you said to Mom and Dad was disgraceful. They gave us everything, and you're tearing us apart because you're insecure." She droned on. "I get your wedding wasn't perfect, but don't ruin mine. Not everything's a competition, Rebecca." I blocked her without a word. Why feed the beast? She didn't stop. She tracked down Jake's number, probably through some mutual sucker, and bombarded him with messages. "As Rebecca's sister, I'm concerned," she began before pivoting to, "You need to control her. She's too sensitive to see the big picture." Then the gem. "Good family ties with someone successful like me could benefit you both. She's hurting your future." Jake howled with laughter, showing me the texts. "She thinks I'm a social climber? She doesn't know me at all." He replied with icy perfection. "Thanks for your concern. I'm focused on Rebecca's happiness, not her behavior. Talk to her directly. Have a nice day." Melanie's final jab? "She's turned you against us too. Don't say I didn't warn you when this blows up." Blows up. Oh darling, you lit the fuse yourself. Here's where urgency kicks in. Hold on to your hats. Melanie's stunt backfired spectacularly. Family members caught wind of her texts, thanks gossipy cousins, and the tide turned fast. My parents doubled down, calling relatives to spin a tale. Rebecca's jealous of Melanie's perfect wedding and left us out of hers on purpose. They claimed I sent invites to ancient addresses. Hilarious, since they've lived in the same house for decades and still use AOL like it's 1999. But the family's not buying it. An aunt spilled tea about Mom pulling similar stunts at past weddings to spotlight Melanie. Cousins shared stories of my parents' favoritism, like the time they threw Melanie a graduation bash, while I got a lukewarm, "good job." Suddenly, RSVPs for Melanie's wedding plummeted. The fancy venue? Cancelled. Turns out a family friend owned it and pulled out. The designer gown? Scheduling conflicts. At a reunion last weekend, Mom lost it when someone asked about my wedding pics, ranting about my betrayal. The room went silent, then erupted. Relatives called her out, and she stormed off, dragging Dad with her. Even Uncle Ted, the peacemaker, apologized for staying quiet too long and swore off Melanie's events. The facade my parents built, decades of Melanie worship and emotional blackmail, was collapsing, and they were the architects of its demise. Just when I thought I'd seen it all, a bombshell dropped yesterday. My cousin Lisa called, voice trembling with excitement and fear. "Rebecca, you won't believe this. Melanie's fiancé dumped her." "Yep," Mr. Yacht called off the engagement. Why? He'd overheard Melanie bragging to a friend about fixing me via Jake, saying, "Once I control her, my wedding's back on track." He saw her for the manipulator she is and bolted. Melanie's spiraling, crying to Mom and Dad, who are now blaming me for ruining her life. I didn't orchestrate this, karma did. Melanie's wedding? Dead. My parents' reputation? Toast. Family members are rallying around me, not them. And I'm not even trying. Jake summed it up. They built a house of cards on lies and favoritism. It was always gonna fall. But wait, there's more. 2 days ago, Melanie showed up at my doorstep unannounced, mascara streaked and wild-eyed, like a villain in a soap opera. "You happy now?" she screamed, shoving past me into my living room. "You've ruined everything. My wedding, my life, our family." I stood there, arms crossed, as she ranted about how I'd poison everyone against her. Jake hovered nearby, ready to toss her out, but I waved him off. This was my circus, my monkeys. She threw a curveball. "I found your old diary from high school in Mom's attic last week. You wrote about hating me. Proof you've always been jealous." I snorted. "Yeah, I was 16, and you stole my best friend to be your prom date. Congrats, Sherlock, you cracked the case." Her face twisted. "I'm telling everyone you planned this from the start." "Planned what?" I laughed so hard I nearly choked. "You think I masterminded your fiancé dumping you?" "Sweetie, I don't have that kind of time." Then she dropped the real bomb. "Mom and Dad are cutting you out of the will. They're giving it all to me. House, savings, everything. Because you're a traitor." I froze, not because I cared about the money, I don't, but because the pettiness was next level. "Good," I shot back. "Let them choke on their cash while they worship your canceled wedding photos." She stormed out, vowing revenge, but I saw the fear in her eyes. She's losing control, and she knows it. I'm thriving. No more groveling for approval, no more dodging Melanie's barbs. Jake and I are planning a weekend getaway. Screw the drama, we're sipping cocktails by a lake. Success isn't proving them wrong. It's living my truth with people who lift me up. My parents and Melanie can stew in their self-made mess. I'm done carrying their baggage. The will. Let them have it. I've got a life they can't touch. Yesterday Lisa called again, giggling. "Your mom tried hosting a family unity dinner to win people back. 3 people showed up, Melanie, Dad, and a stray cat that wandered in." I cackled. "Their empire's in ashes, and I'm not even stoking the fire." The funniest part? They still think they're the victims. Mom called this morning, sobbing, "How could you do this to us?" I hung up mid-wail. They'll never get it, and I'll never care again. The family apocalypse is here, and I'm the one laughing through the flames. Melanie's last stand, a pathetic flop. My parents' legacy, a punchline. Me, I'm free, furious, and finally the hero of my own damn story.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends. And if you'd love to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. See you in the next video.